If you're an INFJ, your 20s were a waste of time. While everyone else was winning, you were just trying to survive. Here's the brutal truth. That failure was necessary. Your brain is a late-blooming machine, and this is why you don't become genuinely unstoppable until after 30. The INFJ brain doesn't reach its full potential until after age 30, and by 40, you become virtually unstoppable. This isn't motivational fluff. This is based on how your cognitive functions actually develop over time. Today, I'm breaking down the 3 psychological shifts that transform the struggling young INFJ into the strategic powerhouse everyone wishes they could be. Before we start, please hit the like button, comment, and subscribe so you won't miss any of our weekly deep dives into the world of personality types. And if you are looking to achieve a deeper understanding of yourself and your personality type, click the link in the comments to take our favorite free personality test. The cognitive friction of early life, pre-30. Your 20s as an INFJ are basically cognitive boot camp. You've got this potent intuitive function called introverted intuition that's constantly picking up patterns and seeing future possibilities. But here's the problem. Your dominant function is paired with extroverted feeling, which makes you hyper-aware of everyone else's emotions and needs. This creates what I call cognitive friction. Your introverted intuition is telling you one thing, your extroverted feeling is pulling you in another direction, and you don't yet have the thinking function developed enough to sort through the conflict. So you end up people-pleasing your way through situations your intuition is screaming are wrong for you. You absorb everyone's emotional state like a sponge, then wonder why you're constantly exhausted. You're also dealing with an underdeveloped introverted thinking function. This means you have these incredible insights, but you can't yet logically validate them. So you doubt yourself constantly. You think I'm just being dramatic, I'm overthinking this, maybe everyone else knows something I don't. This self-doubt becomes your default setting, and it's absolutely exhausting. Phase 1. The maturation of introverted intuition, focused vision. Something shifts around age 30. Your introverted intuition function, which has been collecting data for 3 decades, finally has enough information to operate with confidence. You've seen enough patterns, experienced enough situations, and observed enough human behavior to trust your instincts completely. This is when the INFJ stops second-guessing their gut feelings and starts acting on them. You walk into a room and immediately know the dynamics at play. You meet someone new and can predict exactly how the relationship will unfold. You sense problems at work months before anyone else even notices there's an issue. But here's what makes this phase so powerful. You're not just having random psychic moments. Your introverted intuition has been calibrating itself against reality for 30 years. Every time you had a feeling about someone and ignored it, only to be proven right later, that data got stored. Every pattern you noticed that others missed, every prediction that came true, it all builds into this incredibly sophisticated internal guidance system. The reason INFJs become unstoppable after 30 is that they finally start trusting this system. They stop looking for external validation of their insights and start acting on their internal knowing. This focused vision becomes their secret weapon. While everyone else is still trying to figure out what's happening, the mature INFJ is already 3 steps ahead, quietly positioning themselves for the outcome they've already seen coming. Phase 2. Extroverted feeling mastery, strategic connection, and boundaries. Your relationship with extroverted feeling completely transforms in your 30s. In your 20s, extroverted feeling felt like a burden. You were constantly managing other people's emotions, saying yes when you meant no, and burning yourself out trying to keep everyone happy. But mature extroverted feeling isn't about people-pleasing. It's about strategic emotional intelligence. You develop what I call selective empathy. You can still read people like books, But now you choose when to engage with what you're reading. You realize that not every emotion someone throws at you requires your response. Not every problem someone shares needs your solution. Not every person who wants access to your energy deserves it. This is when the famous INFJ door slam becomes a precision instrument instead of an emotional reaction. You're not slamming doors out of hurt anymore. You're making calculated decisions about who stays in your life based on whether they add value or drain it. You become incredibly strategic about your relationships. The boundary setting that emerges during this phase is unlike anything other personality types experience. Because you understand people so profoundly, you can set boundaries that are both kind and absolutely non-negotiable. You know exactly what to say to communicate your limits without creating unnecessary drama. You can end toxic relationships with surgical precision, leaving the other person understanding exactly why it had to happen. Your extroverted feeling also becomes a leadership superpower. You can manage complex group dynamics, resolve seemingly impossible conflicts, and create environments where everyone feels understood. But you're doing it intentionally now, not compulsively. You choose when to use your emotional intelligence as a tool rather than having it use you. Phase 3. The emergence of introverted thinking, internal logic, and self-correction. This is where INFJs become truly unstoppable. Your introverted thinking function finally develops enough to provide the logical framework your introverted intuition and extroverted feeling have been missing. This is your internal fact checker, your personal logic system that validates or challenges your insights and decisions. Introverted thinking gives you something INFJs desperately need in their younger years: the ability to think objectively about your own thoughts and feelings. You can step back from a situation and analyze it without getting emotionally overwhelmed. You can question your own assumptions, test your theories against reality, and course correct when needed. This creates a compelling feedback loop. Your introverted intuition sees the patterns. Your extroverted feeling understands the human elements. And your introverted thinking evaluates whether your conclusions actually make logical sense. When all three functions are working together, you become someone who can navigate complex situations with both emotional intelligence and strategic thinking. The introverted thinking development also permits you to be selfish in healthy ways. You can justify protecting your time and energy. You can analyze relationships objectively and make decisions based on data rather than guilt. You stop feeling bad about having standards and start seeing them as necessary filters for a high-quality life. This is when INFJs develop their reputation for being quietly powerful. You're not the loudest person in the room, but you're often the one everyone turns to when things get complicated. You've learned to trust your internal guidance system entirely, and that confidence is magnetic. Phase 4. Integrating extroverted sensing, grounded action, and presence. The final piece of the puzzle is extroverted sensing development, your extroverted sensing function. In your 20s, extroverted sensing was your weakest link. You lived so much in your head that you often missed what was happening right in front of you. You'd walk into walls while lost in thought, forget to eat when you were focused on a project, or completely miss obvious social cues because you were analyzing the deeper meaning of everything. But something remarkable happens when INFJs integrate their extroverted sensing function in their 30s and 40s. You become incredibly present and action-oriented in ways that shock people who knew the younger, more scattered version of you. You start noticing details in your environment that inform your decisions. You become someone who can think strategically and then execute those plans in the real world with precision. This extroverted sensing integration is what transforms the INFJ from a dreamy idealist into a grounded visionary. You still see the big picture, but now you can break it down into concrete steps and actually make it happen. You become someone who doesn't just have great ideas, but who can bring those ideas to life through sustained, focused action. Real-world examples of post-30 INFJ success. Look at any successful INFJ who hit their stride after 30, and you'll see this pattern. They spent their 20s feeling like misfits, struggling with self-doubt, and trying to force themselves into boxes that didn't fit. Then something clicked, and they became unstoppable forces in their chosen fields. These mature INFJs often become the people others can't quite figure out, but deeply respect. They're the entrepreneurs who predict market trends before anyone else sees them coming. They're the therapists who can solve problems that other professionals couldn't. They're the artists who create work that resonates so deeply it changes people's lives. What makes them unstoppable isn't just their individual talents. It's the integration of all their functions working together. They combine visionary thinking with emotional intelligence, logical analysis, and grounded execution. They've learned to trust their internal guidance system completely, while still adapting and responding to real-world feedback. Here's what nobody tells you about being an INFJ. Your struggles in your 20s aren't a bug in your personality, they're a feature. Every moment of feeling different, every experience of being misunderstood, every time you doubted yourself, it was all building towards something powerful. The INFJ brain becomes unstoppable after 30 because it finally has all the pieces it needs to operate at full capacity. Your introverted intuition provides the vision. Your extroverted feeling gives you the emotional intelligence to work with people effectively. Your introverted thinking offers the logical framework to make sound decisions. And your extroverted sensing grounds everything in practical action. This isn't about becoming a different person. It's about becoming the fullest expression of who you've always been. The depth you felt as a burden becomes your greatest strength. The sensitivity that seemed like a weakness becomes a superpower. The need for meaning that made you feel like an outsider becomes the driving force that creates your most important work. If you're still in your 20s and this feels impossible, trust the process. Every challenging experience you're having right now is calibrating your internal systems for the person you're becoming. The INFJ path is longer than most, but the destination is worth every step of the journey. Your time is coming, and when it arrives, you won't just be successful. You'll be unstoppable. Subscribe for more insights into the INFJ mind. And remember, your sensitivity is your superpower, you just haven't learned how to wield it yet. If you want to continue the journey to understanding yourself or an INFJ in your life, click either of the following videos, where we continue to unlock the secrets of the INFJ personality type.